good to be with you. I want to share with you on Reverend Red's behalf the warmest of greetings from the Franklin Township Interfaith Council, with best wishes for a blessed Ramadan season, and especially today as you are celebrating. I also want to bring greetings from my own congregation from Middlebush Reformed Church, located at the corner of Amwell and South Middlebush Roads. There is something that is an important psalm that we share, and it's a psalm that maybe you're familiar with some of these words, if not the words themselves, certainly the concept. How very good and pleasant it is when kindred dwell together in unity. That's worth saying again, right? How very good and pleasant it is when kindred dwell together in unity. I am personally gratefully enriched by the occasions of fellowship and collaboration that we share in here in Franklin Township. The kinds of diversity that we see in our township, the gatherings that we have when we are able to be together, that has been personally enriching to me. To be gathered together with interfaith leaders, to share, to listen, to learn from one another and with one another, to be able to serve with one another, that is an enrichment to me. It makes me feel more good and pleasant. And all of that is true, especially at times like this, when in our world, such occasions are very, very fragile. Such gatherings have a fragility around them. Interfaith work is hard, isn't it? I say that in many different settings. It is hard. It means making time for one another, setting aside our own schedules, our own agendas, our own needs, and making time to be with one another. That's hard. It means listening well to one another. That's hard, because we're already thinking about what we want to say next. No, just listen. It means suspending some of our own deepest convictions, at least long enough to be able to see how someone else holds their deepest convictions, even if we don't share them. And that is hard to do. That is hard. It can press us very uncomfortably. It can expose us to new ideas or beliefs that challenge us or even test us. Maybe it can leave us feeling that we aren't heard as much as we are being asked to hear others. All of that can be hard. It can be painful. And it can be wearisome. But, and here's the good news, interfaith work can also open us to new ways of being neighbors to one another and of being neighbors for one another. It can open us to new ways of serving one another and of serving with one another, in ways that build bridges, in ways that make for peace, in ways that make our community stronger. It is hard work with the great reward of blessings, the kind of blessings that only come from hard work, but the blessings that are enriching, that are good and pleasant as we learn to dwell together. And in order to do this hard work, we need a strength that comes from beyond ourselves, don't we? It is fitting that we consider this theme of community engagement to promote unity and to reject division. It is appropriate that we consider this theme in a time of fasting and of spiritual discipline, a time of saying again that we are dependent on God, that we are refocused on God and God's ways. It is fitting that in a time of spiritual focus, as you experience Ramadan, my own tradition experiences the season of Lent, with similar kinds of practices and traditions. It is fitting that in this time of spiritual focus, we humble ourselves again before God to ask God's leading for our work, that we might be instruments of God's healing for our world. We can only do that together. with one another and with the help that God provides. May it be so. Amen.
Next speaker is the director of New Brunswick Islamic Center, affectionately known as NBIC. Please help me welcome Sami, Catovic.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I begin with the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. For our non-Muslim guests, this is something we frequently use to describe God. In fact, every night as we go through the Quran and recite the Quran every night in our Islamic centers, this is the name that we proclaim most commonly at the beginning of all of our prayers and all that we do. For indeed to call upon God's mercy and compassion. And it seems like more than ever, we need God's mercy and compassion in the world we're living in. The second thing that we as Muslims often do is we also begin every program and every greeting with Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. To not only wish peace upon the person that you are greeting, but also to bring the name of God, As-Salam, the source of peace, into the world, at least in the words we speak, that it can lead then to an environment around us. And I think more than ever, we live in a world where we can use some more salam. When we look to this month of fasting and in the context of the conversation we're having, and I thank the pastor for sharing those remarks, we're told in the Quran that fasting for Muslims, when we are just, and when it was commanded as a practice, it said it was prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you. It is commanded for you as it was for those before you. And for what purpose? It says that you may learn self-restraint for bringing God more conscious in your life. So when we talk about unity, I think this profound practice, and as was mentioned, our Christian brothers and sisters who are celebrating Lent right now, and it coincided this year, the exact day of start. This profound relationship of fasting as an activity that actually brings together all faith traditions, for indeed every faith tradition on the planet has a tradition of fasting in one form or another. It brings it together as the Quran instructs us. It was for those as well before you, for all people. In fact, it goes back to our father Adam, peace be upon him, that the first thing that he was instructed to do was fast, to stay away from the tree. That was the first command. With his creation came that. So what does that tell us? That our creation as human beings fundamentally resides in our ability to demonstrate self-restraint and control. Self-restraint and control. And that's the purpose of fasting in any faith tradition. That you voluntarily take it upon yourself for someone or something greater than yourself to learn that self-control and restraint. And I would argue, of all that we're seeing in the world today, of the chaos, whether it's in our country or in other places, as we wage war right now. Yes, although Congress didn't declare it, we are at war as a nation. What is going on? We're losing this ability of self-constraint, of disciplined behavior, of the ability of self-control. And we have people in political office and in corporations and here and there with unrestrained greed and unrestrained pursuit of power and unrestrained passion. And now sex trafficking has become a norm, and child molestation has become a norm, and child killing is acceptable. And all of these things we're seeing in society that are so to be justified merely because we are people in leadership positions have no self-restraint and control. And they're taking us all down with it. So when we talk about community engagement and unity, we have to have a foundational understanding of who we are as a community and what are we unifying on. And I would argue we can take a lesson from fasting. That we start raising our children and our community to be individuals who know how to respect other people, who restrain their anger and their tongue, who restrain when they want to lash out, because that is going to be the next generation of leadership. We are presented more than ever a clarity of what this country can look like. It would behoove us, everyone in this room, your homework, you're not familiar with it, even if you are, review it. I do all the time. Let's go back to our first founding father, George Washington. You want to know what America and the vision of what we're supposed to be living in? A community of unity, bringing people together? Go read his farewell address to the nation. Go read his farewell address to the nation. I challenge you, you would know that he is speaking to us today about division and what it does to society, about loyalty to foreign nations, about what it will do to the nation, about pursuing personal interests over the interests of the community as a whole. He lays out in his farewell address what America is and was supposed to be. So if we educate ourselves as Americans that, and implement that from our faith traditions that brings commonality and unity together, that will allow us to raise that generation, that we have a country that truly embodies the principles upon which it was founded, and we live up to our faith and our fidelity to our faith traditions in accomplishing those principles. We ask God Almighty to bless us, to bless this gathering, and I thank you all for allowing me to come and share these few words with you. Ramadan Mubarak.
Of our dignitaries and our community efforts, let me invite an individual who's been serving this organization for many years, who's been serving Franklin Township for many years. He is a director of this mosque, president of the Sadiq School, and deputy mayor of Franklin Township. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Alex Kharazi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mustafa. I will start with the name of God, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you. On behalf of Masjid-e-Ali and the Muslim community of Franklin Township, I would like to extend our gratitude for you joining us to strengthen our bonds and share a meal. One of the beautiful things of living in the United States of America is gathering like this, when we have the opportunity to meet people from different diverse backgrounds. And I hope everyone will have the opportunity to meet some new people tonight. And before I introduce some of the guests, because I see so many new faces here today, I would like to say a few words about this mosque. This mosque was opened its door to community on November 2010. Today, it has a daycare at the front, it has this mosque, and also it has a full-time school in the back. It's situated on about 10-acre land. And over the years that I have been with this community, I have learned that to promote unity, earn mutual respect, build trust, help our children to feel belonging, and help others see us as contributors, not outsiders, we have to engage in community services. That is what this community has been doing for years. For example, we hold annual blood drive. We offer various workshops. We hold health clinics. We have food drive. We provide food for homeless. And we hold interfaith programs. And even we made this mosque a polling station for 3 of the districts, where about 2,000 members of our community come every year twice to cast their votes. And we follow a simple but powerful principles. We are either brothers in faith or equal in humanity, and that God has created us to different tribes and nations, so we get to know each other and care for one another. So during the Ramadan, one of the things that Muslims do often is engage in acts of charity. And each year during Ramadan, our community also raise some money to help our neighbors who are facing food insecurity. And I'm happy to invite Mr. Derek Smith, Director of Franklin Food Bank, to join me, please. Now, Food Bank has been serving this community and even those outside of this community for over 50 years. You may not believe this, but 1 out of 7 members of this community faces food insecurity. That is 10,000 out of 70,000 people. I also would like to invite Mr. Hassan Shabir. I hope he is here from ICNA. Okay, he's not here. But I can ask Brother Javad to come here. I saw him here. Come, Imam Javad. Please join me. ICNA gives hundreds of food packages during Ramadan and also help our community with their hygiene needs during the year, as well as they do school backpack drive at the end of summer and provides a lot of other services to our community members. I would like to invite Ms. Atia Aftab to please to join us. She is the chair of Circle of Islamic Life, chair of Islamic Life at Rutgers University, and this group, they do an amazing job helping our Muslim students at Rutgers University. Finally, I would like to invite my good friend Joe Danielson, Assemblyman Joe Danielson, who each year has been shaving his head to raise funds for cancer, children cancer research. And Dr. Iqbal, may I ask you to also to join us? So, why did I ask them to join us? Well, there's a good reason for it. On behalf of the Muslim community, I'm happy to let you know that a total of $13,272.65 was collected during Ramadan to give to share with you. And the donation varies from 5 cents to $2,000. Right? And I would like to recognize especially Sadiq school students. We asked our students to also help, and they were able to help quite a bit. Tawheed Center, Razi Health Foundation, and Masjid-e-Ali and Franklin Township Muslim Community for their generous donation. I wish we had time to give each one of you to say a few words about your organization, but we don't. But please talk to them when we have a dinner. Also visit their website. You will be amazed.
Trying something new out here, right? Like keeping remarks or talking points on the phone, which is, probably not all that new to some of you, but for me, I'm just going to try this. So, good evening, and Ramadan Kareem, it's good to be here. I have not been here before, and I can see where this sense of community, it's really remarkable what you do, and I know from just working in the state before in Somerset County, the work that you all do in community, and it's just very nice to be here tonight to see it firsthand. I am a proud New Jerseyan, and one of the things that I'm most proud of in our state is our diversity. And it's our diversity of thought, it's our diversity of people, and how we embrace each other's differences. And really this interfaith celebration that you have tonight, and exactly what you do each and every day is a perfect example of that and what that looks like. We all have a different story, many of us have different faiths, but in this moment, as has been said already, in this place, we come together as one community. Every faith is unique, but the lessons of Ramadan really are universal, and they're so universal to what the core values that I hold, our department holds, and what I like to believe, our state and what our nation should hold, for sure, which is the importance of treating people with respect, carrying out good deeds, and being charitable toward others, fostering a sense of community, as we talked about, that welcomes people of all faiths and all cultures. And as the war does rage in the Middle East, I know many of you are worried about friends and family abroad, as well as your own safety here at home. I want to assure you, as New Jersey's Attorney General and Chief Law Enforcement Officer, I'm working, and we all are working with law enforcement across our state to ensure that houses of worship and other gathering places are safe. Please know that law enforcement across our state remain vigilant to ensure the safety of each of you, your families, and the people who come to visit New Jersey, to make sure that they can worship freely. You can go about your daily lives freely. And it's such an important part of what we do. And it's important to make sure that you know how much law enforcement takes that responsibility so seriously. This evening's theme is community engagement to promote unity and reject division. It speaks again to the core values of our department and the belief in the power of community in doing what's right for the right reasons and bringing people together. Thank you, Dr. Kharazi, for inviting me to share in this celebration tonight. I do look forward to a partnership that we have in many different ways through the different people in this room, not just for the weeks, the months, but the years to come. And I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you.
The vision we have in New Jersey is our Homeland Security. In fact, believe it or not, over the past few years, this center has gotten over $400,000 in grants, which we have used to put fences, cameras, generator, gates, and much more. And we are very thankful, and I'm happy to invite the new Director of Homeland Security, Thomas Hauck, to say a few words.
Ramadan Mubarak and good evening. Thank you for welcoming me and my office to this important gathering. I'm grateful to be here with you and my fellow law enforcement and emergency preparedness partners. Being new to my role as director, I've been starting my days very early, and being the month of Ramadan, I've ended many of my nights very late. So if I may just take a moment to offer a special thanks to the State Police Executive Protection Unit, whose days start before and end after people like me, the Attorney General, and the Superintendent of Police. So, Jeannie, thank you for your team. They make sure we're able to be here, and like I said, they're here before us and well after us. In light of the current international and domestic events, I would like to start by assuring you that my office, the Attorney General's office, and the New Jersey State Police, and our federal, county, and local partners are all joined at the hip, working together closely and constantly to keep the Muslim community and all of New Jersey's faith-based communities safe. When I'm invited to speak at a faith-based event like tonight's Iftar, I always try to understand the core virtues associated with such events. Next, from the list of virtues I develop, I focus on a few that resonate with me and seem most relevant to my life right now. So for tonight's Iftar, I've selected 3 core principles of Ramadan to focus on. First, renewing our commitments to one another. As the new director of OHSP, I take this opportunity not only to renew my commitment to the Muslim community and all the faith-based communities across New Jersey, but to Jen in the Attorney General's office, and to Jeannie and the state police, and all my federal, state, county, and local partners. Second, a focus on connection, community, and bringing people from various backgrounds together. Considering we will be welcoming millions of visitors from many different backgrounds to New Jersey as we host FIFA World Cup 2026 and celebrations of our nation's 250th anniversary, this is the perfect opportunity to show kindness, patience, understanding to those who come from backgrounds different than our own. Third, reflection and self-improvement. Again, in conjunction with my recent appointment to Director of OHSP, what better time to reflect and improve? It is good to occasionally pause and reflect, reset, and refocus so we can approach our lives, families, neighbors, communities, and professional duties clear-eyed. That is, with mental acuity and insightfulness, a realistic understanding of our environment, and an ability to analyze situations objectively without being clouded by emotion or bias. So after reflecting, one way I will improve this coming year, which is relevant to you, my faith-based friends and family, is that I will meet you in your communities much more. I realized that last year, most of my interaction with my faith-based partners and friends was in office spaces, conference rooms, and auditoriums at formal Interfaith Advisory Council meetings, instead of in your houses of worship and communities. So I look forward to meeting you on your home field this year. Before closing, I would like to introduce some members of the OHSP team. Let me ask, does Izzy need an introduction? So everybody knows Izzy. He oversees our partner engagement unit, including our Interfaith Advisory Council. I'm not sure if Shannon made it here tonight. Shannon may have been stuck in traffic, but Shannon Torres is our new Mission Support Bureau Chief. She oversees our New Jersey Suspicious Activity Reporting System, our 24/7 Counter Threat Watch Unit, and our Partner Engagement Unit. Prior to joining us, she retired as the Chief of the Davenport, New Jersey Police Department. Artie Marin, he's here. Artie is also part of our Partner Engagement and Interfaith Advisory Council team. Harmain Sohail, when I tell you who he's with, he's going to be the most popular person in the room. He's with our Grants Management Bureau. So I respectfully ask that you do not approach Harmain in large groups in the dark parking lot when he leaves here tonight. He's not carrying any grant funding. All right. So on a serious note, please make a point to introduce yourselves and connect with Izzy, Shannon, Artie, and Harmain. In closing, I thank you again for inviting me to share in this special occasion, and I wish you and your families peace, prosperity, and good health. And thank you again.
So, Mayor, it's your turn.
Where's Joe Danielson? Notice they invited me, not you. Joe and I have a repartee.
Please be short.
Touché. Good evening and Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you for welcoming me here tonight. It's truly an honor to join you at this Iftar. I am especially grateful for the warmth that has always greeted me whenever I walk through these doors. As many of you know, I'm Jewish. My tradition, like Islam, values reflection, compassion, charity, and community. Ramadan is a time of fasting, prayer, and generosity, values that resonate deeply with people of many faiths. Gatherings like these remind us how much we share across traditions. Earlier this week, however, I received an email from an organization called Center for Study of Political Islam International. I'd never heard of it, perhaps you have, urging me to not attend any iftars. The message warned me about the supposed intolerance of Islam and suggested that participating in an event like this would somehow be wrong. I want to be clear about something. This email was reprehensible. It attempted to sow suspicion and fear between neighbors who live, work, and care for one another in the same community. It tried to define people not by their actions or their character, but by their prejudice and stereotypes. But here is the flaw in what the narrative said. My experience with this mosque and with the Muslim community here has been exactly the opposite. What I've experienced here is kindness. I've experienced openness. I've experienced love for community, for neighbors, for the town we all share. When I have visited this mosque, I've not seen intolerance. I've seen families. I've seen people working to make their community better. I've seen people of faith living out their values in the most positive ways. Now, I know many of you are familiar with this kind of trope, but you know who you are, you know the work you do, and you know the spirit you bring to the town. But I worry about people who don't know you. Someone who has never set foot might read a message like this one and believe it. They might never meet you. They might never see your generosity, your community. They might never share a meal like this, and they might never understand the truth. And that is why what you do here is so important. Your response cannot be anger or retreat. The response must be to continue exactly what you are already doing. Openness, kindness, and engagement with the broader community. Continue welcoming people to these doors. Continue showing the world who you are. Because the truth about a community is not found in a feckless email or an inflammatory rhetoric. It is found in moments like this, in shared meals, in friendship, in the daily work of building a better town together. Houses of worship are meant to be places of peace and safety. They are where people come to pray, to reflect, to strengthen their families, and to strengthen their communities. Unfortunately, current events around the world remind us that these ideas have been challenged. Too often we see religious communities targeted, mistrusted, or even attacked simply because of who they are. This is why gatherings like these are so important. So for the Center for Misinformation and Political Islamic International, when a Jewish mayor stands in a mosque to celebrate Ramadan with his fellow friends and his Muslim friends, it sends a simple but powerful message. We've refused to let fear define us. We choose community, we choose understanding, we choose to stand together. Finally tonight, thank you for welcoming, thank you for your friendship, and thank you for the example of faith. Not just for this time, but for everyone who might be watching and wondering who you really are. Ramadan Mubarak.
Good evening. In the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I begin with the verse of Quran, chapter 5, verse number 2. وَتَعَاوَنُوا بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Cooperate in piety and God-wariness, but do not cooperate in sin and aggression, and be wary of God. The title of the discussion this year, Community Engagement to Promote Unity and Reject Division. Boy, if Interfaith was ever needed, it's now. In the times that we are all going through, and many have already expressed. Why Interfaith matters today? Well, increasing polarization, misunderstanding, and religious stereotyping. Many people know about each other through media, but not relationship. This is a platform where we build that relationship. The goal is not to dilute faith, but to remove fear and build trust. Speaking of fear, imagine the fear of parents who send their children to school expecting that they will be safe. A moment of trust is broken when 165 schoolgirls were killed. Just imagine what the parents are going through, all those who are parents over here, fathers and mothers. You know what was their crime? sitting in their classrooms learning. And now the parents will never be able to get over this fear. What building bridges means, as we gather here to build some bridges, it does not mean compromising our beliefs. It does not mean mixing religions. It does not mean avoiding differences. All those can be still there. And it's okay for a healthy community to have these differences. But what it means is respectful dialogue, learning without judgment, finding shared values. All of you uttered so eloquently before me: justice, compassion, family values, service to humanity. Idea is not to convert anyone over here, but get to know one another and to dispel any doubts that we may have about each other's faith. The role of Ramadan, as we do this in the month of Ramadan, is a perfect opportunity. Fasting builds empathy, masjid al-ju', as the Rawaya says. Why? Because those less fortunate in the world, as we give this motto that while we are hungry by choice, not many in the world are like that. Iftar brings people together, brought all of you together. There's blessings and barakah in congregation. The spiritual environments, they also soften hearts. So when you sit here, you hear some emotional words, your hearts are tender, and now they're soft. I'll conclude that in recent years, we often hear the claim that Islam is not compatible with Western society. But history and reality tells a very different story. Muslims have not just arrived in the West recently. Muslims have been living, working, serving, and contributing in Western societies for over a century. The real question is not whether Islam is compatible with the West. The real question is, are the values of Islam compatible with the universal human values? And the answer is very clear. Islam teaches respect for neighbors, care for the poor, honesty in business, protection of family, freedom of conscience, justice, and dignity for all. These are the values that, of course, are in this country as well. These are not foreign values, these are shared human values that all our faiths, preach to us. And before I conclude, let me leave you with a small thought. Sometimes people ask, are Muslims compatible with the West? Just like the previous question. I'll tell them, of course we are. We wake up early for prayers. We work long hours, as was mentioned. We pay our taxes. We worry about our kids' grades. And during Ramadan, we even give up coffee. Now, if someone can give up coffee in America for 30 days, that's not just compatibility, that's commitment. Thank you very much for all coming here today. I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of Masjid-e-Ali board and as well as the community for all of you blessing this gathering with your presence, and hope to see you during Iftar and throughout the year on many combined events that community promotes. Once again, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.